What movie death scene is burned into your memory? The death scene in Saving Private Ryan where the knife slowly goes into the guy's chest, it's still hard to watch even now. Yes, I think this one for me also. It's so visceral and horrific even if it isn't as gory as others. Also, the medic is close second.
Both of those scenes were wild, but the medic death was intense. Shot in the liver and knew he was going to die. The actor played that so well.
The curb stomp in American History X. Oh God, yeah. I haven't watched that movie in many years but I can still hear the sound.
John Green Mile. I'm awful tired boss. Loudly crying.
When Percy executes Dell by using dry sponge in the Green Mile.
Percy is just one of the worst characters ever put on paper. What a despicable scumbag from every direction. Every scene with him as him just being a complete psycho. Even among Stephen King books he's easily one of the worst.
Funny thing is the actor who played him seems to be equally as scummy. Not a movie, but there was an episode of MASH I saw as a kid that traumatizes me to this day. The whole episode, which I haven't seen since I was about 9 so forgive any incorrect details, is about a group of army and civilians hiding from the enemy. One lady has a chicken, and they keep telling her to keep it quiet because if it gives away their position they'll all be dead. We find out she smothered the chicken to death to save everyone. But the horror twist is that the soldier telling the story had replaced the actual source of the noise. Her human baby. With the chicken because it was so horrible. I have children now and the thought of making that choice makes me sick to my stomach. Hereditary where Charlie got decapitated by the telephone pole. Scrolled for this one, the mother scream will always stick with me.
And then the cut to the head on the pavement. When Bubba was dying in Forrest Gump, him saying, "I wanna go home," hit me deep. Even though I know he was acting, I wanted to reach through the screen and hug his fear and pain away. All those young boys dying in the jungle must have been so terrified. Sometimes when people go to Vietnam, they go home to their mamas without any legs. Sometimes they don't go home at all. That's a bad thing. That's all I have to say about that. In Silence of the Lambs when Hannibal gets a hold of the guard in his cage cell and starts biting his face. 9-year-old me was not ready for that. And I was less ready to hear my mom start laughing hysterically at the scene. I guess she just found it absurd.
You watched Silence of the Lambs, at 9 years old.
I think the fact that his mom was laughing explains a lot. Ghost Ship. When cable snaps and cuts bunch of people who were happily dancing on deck in half. I watched this as a teen and as soon as I read your comment, I instantly remembered it as vividly as the first time.
Spock, I have been, and always shall be, your friend. Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human. Brooks's death in Shawshank Redemption, can't get it out of my head. Edit, my first gold, thank you so much.
Brooks was here.
Just the fact that he was so lost in the world without family or friends at the end of life pierced deep.
Artax, in the never-ending story. Completely wrecked 7-year-old me.
Artax. Stupid horse. You've gotta move or you'll die. Move, please. I won't give up. Quote. Absolutely heartbreaking. When in The Mummy Returns Imhotep realizes what Rick and Evie have is love and he looks at Anaxunaman imagining the same but she just nopes out and he yeets himself to the underworld. Also, the man who dies from flesh-eating beetle. Oh, that scarab death was horrifying.